It was supposed to be just another peaceful walk with my dog, the kind of day where nothing happens. But then, she appeared a stranger, with a smile too wide and questions that dug too deep. What started as a friendly encounter quickly turned into something surreal. She didn't just want to pet my dog. She wanted to take him, and she believed she had the right to. It was a quiet afternoon, the kind that doesn't ask for anything more than a walk and some peace. The sun hung low and steady, casting a warm glow across the sidewalk. My dog Max trotted beside me, his caramel fur catching glints of light, his tail wagging like a metronome. He was a mutt, part retriever, part who knows what, but to me, he was family. We had walked this route 100 times before, around the park loop, past the oak trees, a stop at the drinking fountain where Max always paused like it was a ritual. He loved people, loved sniffing passing dogs, loved life in general. He was everything good in this world: loyal, gentle, unaware of cruelty. We had just turned the corner past the benches when I saw her, a woman in her 40s, sitting straight-backed on the bench like she was posing for a magazine cover. Her white pants and designer sunglasses practically screamed, "I'm not here for the park, I'm here to be seen." She looked up and locked eyes on Max like she'd spotted treasure. "Oh my God," she said, rising quickly. "He's beautiful." Before I could reply, she marched over and bent down to pet him without a word to me. Her hands moved quickly, too confidently, like she was reuniting with a long-lost pet. Max, being Max, leaned into it with his usual good nature, but something about the way she touched him made my stomach turn. Possessive, familiar. I offered a tight smile. "He's a good boy." "Where'd you get him?" she asked. Still petting. "I adopted him as a puppy." Her smile flickered. "From a shelter, yeah." There was a pause. Then she straightened up and looked me in the eye for the first time. "Have you ever thought about giving him to someone who can take better care of him?" The words didn't register at first. I blinked. "I'm sorry." She nodded toward Max. "He deserves a proper home, with someone who has a yard, maybe other dogs, space to run. He's not just some rescue mutt. He's special." I felt the tension rise in my chest. "He has a home." She took a step closer. "I'm serious. I'd be happy to give him a better life." I tightened my grip on the leash. Max looked up at me, ears perked, sensing the shift. "This isn't a conversation," I said. "He's my dog." She didn't flinch. She reached down and grabbed his collar. "He clearly wants to stay with me. Look how relaxed he is." My heart pounded. Let go of his collar. People around us had started to notice. A few had slowed their walks. One teenager pulled out his phone and began recording. I kept my voice calm. "Ma'am, this is my dog. You're touching him without permission. Let go." She did the opposite. She tried to pull. Just a little. But enough. Max, bless him, didn't move. He looked at her, then at me, then sat down like a stubborn statue. The woman frowned. "You're being very hostile," she said. "Maybe because you know this dog isn't really yours." That was it. I stepped between them. "If you touch him again, I'll call the police." She scoffed. "You call the police, please. They'll want to see proof of ownership. You don't have that with you, do you?" "I don't need it to prove you're harassing me in public." She turned to the crowd, now visibly watching. "He stole this dog, I'm serious. He doesn't look like someone who'd raise a dog this well. He probably found him and just kept him." There it was, the assumption, the real accusation wrapped in fake concern. Before I could say anything, an older man on a nearby bench stood up and said, "Lady, that dog doesn't want to go with you. He hasn't taken his eyes off his real owner since you walked up." Laughter broke out behind us. The woman's face flushed. She pointed at the man. "You don't know what you're talking about. People like you let things happen until it's too late." I stayed quiet. Max was still sitting like a statue, head tilted slightly, tail thumping slowly against the sidewalk. Calm in the chaos, she stood there, searching for someone, anyone to side with her, but no one did. "You'll regret this," she snapped. "Dogs don't lie. And he clearly picked me. She turned on her heel and stormed off. I let out a long breath, barely aware of how tense my body had gotten. Max stood up and sniffed the air. Then, just as she passed the puddle Max had splashed in earlier, he lunged. Just slightly. The leash tugged, and he kicked back. A wave of mud shot upward like divine timing. It splattered across her perfectly pressed white pants. Thick, dark, undeniable. She froze, looked down, looked back at us. Max tilted his head. Completely innocent. Her mouth opened, then closed. No words came out. I couldn't help it. I laughed. Not loud, but honest. She stormed off in silence. The crowd now fully chuckling. One of the teenagers muttered, "That's karma if I've ever seen it." I bent down and rubbed Max's ears. "You didn't mean to," I whispered, "but I appreciate the help." We walked home in silence. But not the uncomfortable kind, the peaceful kind. The kind you get when something unjust tries to shake your world and fails. That night, I dug out Max's adoption papers, scanned them, and saved digital copies, just in case. A few days later, I learned from a neighbor that the woman had tried something similar before. Different dog, different park, same entitlement. But word had gotten around. She never came back to our park. And Max, he still stops by that puddle every time we walk by. Like he remembers, like he knows. Maybe it was just mud, maybe it was justice.